Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Lady CoaCo show. I have a special guest this evening. It is Tuesday night. I'm coming to you all from Dallas, Texas, and we have Nelson Curry, the Sugar Shack Man, with us this evening. I'm going to give y'all my little intro, and then I'm going to bring him right on so you all can see my guest for tonight. How about that?
Once again. I just want you to know that I really like the way that you carry yourself. I hope I live with you. I always want to do I like you. You can give it to me. Thanks. Give it so till I promise I won't run. No. Are you ready? It's ready. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So you say that you're ready, baby. I know what I need. I'm ready for a lady like me. Tonight you got to have it. Nothing like it has before. And if I give you the CoaCo, you'll be coming back for more. I ain't got the drama. Don't wanna be a side piece. I got to hear you, baby. It'll satisfy all you need. If we keep running how to hear the speed. Just keep on walking, stop the talking. Just don't want to be at my give it to you nice and slow. I'm sure that you won't go. Just don't go running out the door. Let's ride. Oh, baby.
All right. We are back. I'm going to bring in my special guest, Mr. Nelson Curry, the Sugar Shack Man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so good to see you, and welcome to the Lady CoaCo show.
Hey, look, I've been watching the Lady CoaCo show, dreaming of my day to be on the Lady CoaCo show, and I'm finally here, baby. Let's go.
Do we need a bell? We need a bell. And I had to have you on when you came on Saturday evening. I said, this man looks so much like my brother. I have a brother. I'm going to send you a picture. With those glasses and the same hat, I'm going to send you.
No kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
But you know what? It's kind of funny you say that because you kind of look like my niece. I have a niece. Y'all have the same kind of face, same eyes and everything. So when you said that, I kind of smiled. I said, well, I can believe that because she looks like somebody in my family.
Right. I mean, it's so crazy, but I promise you, when we get off this interview, I'm going to send you that picture so you can see my brother. It is great. I mean, not just one of them, a couple of my brothers you look like.
Okay.
Oh, no. Well, I'm having to talk to wait a minute. I'm having to talk to somebody.
Slave trade was a hell of a thing. That slave trade was a hell of a
back in the day, they said, yes, listen, my father had 16 children by the same lady. You hear me?
Yep.
16.
And look, my father is one of 13. I mean, one of 12 rather. So
One of
we're
12.
all we're all about the big families.
Oh, yes, yes, that's amazing. So I'm gonna have to do some research to be like, wait a minute, hold up here. Is this my brother? We gotta find out. So listen, what have you been up to? What you've been doing before you finally arrived on the Lady CoaCo show? I see you everywhere.
What you saying? What I've been doing lately?
Now, what have you been up to? What you been doing lately before you got to my show? Because you've been everywhere before you found this touchdown over here.
Yeah, well, I've been recording. I've been because I do voiceover work. I do jingles for people. I write songs for people. I produce songs for people. I promote shows. I mean, I try and do anything in any aspect of this whole music thing.
Yes.
Anything I can get my hands into, I try and dip it in.
Yes. I mean, you're such an amazing artist. I spoke to him backstage. He was telling me all the different things that he does, and I'm just a phenomenal guy. I mean, just like when you go live, also, you really don't read the comments because I've been on some of the lives and you just be skipping my name. Don't read no comments at all. Nelson, you don't read no comments.
I don't. Most of the time I'm getting on when I'm on there live, I'm just on there to vent. I'm venting about something,
right?
And usually I don't see. I know K9 said he was on there a couple of times. He's like, "Man, I was on your live. You didn't ever say nothing." I said, "Bro, I didn't even see it."
No, because you just be minding your business, And then once you start calling out names, they want you to keep calling out names.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't want to get yourself caught up like that. Like, okay, you got to say this person's name, that person's name, and somebody gonna see you and say, "You didn't say my name."
Right. So the key is just say, "Hello, everybody," and keep it
hello,
moving.
everybody. Hello, everybody.
That's right.
So, okay, listen, you all. This is Nelson Curry, the Sugar Shack Man, all the way from the Carolinas. He was telling me right there from the place where, what's his name? The Godfather of Soul is from.
Yeah, Mr. James Brown. As a matter of fact, I was in the I've been in the studio with him several times. I didn't record with him, but we recorded in the same studio. And when we recorded a song called "Look at Them Girls with the Daisy Dukes On," and
really?
it was yeah, and he used to come in the same studio, and usually he would come in late. He usually come in about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I try and get.
Oh, what did I do? I kicked you out. Wait a minute. There you go. I'm sorry. There you go.
Yeah. But on occasion, I would see him in there, and I had an opportunity to watch while he worked with the band in the studio. It was something to see. That's for sure.
Well,
But yeah,
what type
Mr.
of person?
James
What
Brown.
type of person?
That's where I'm from.
What type of person was he? What type of person was he?
He was all I can say, he was interesting. I mean, because when he came into the studio, you would think he was going on stage, because I mean he was sharp as a tack every time I saw him, and he looked like he was in great shape. He just looked like a guy that was. I mean, he was, to be as old as he was. He was a guy that was in phenomenal shape with some big hands. He had big hands. I remember that, but he was really cool the times that I saw him, and the time all the times that I met him, he was just an extraordinary guy. But it was just when you walk around somebody who's that famous, I don't know if you I don't know if you've ever been around somebody that famous up close. There's this thing they give off. The funeral. I remember Michael Jackson.
You're breaking up a little bit over there. You're breaking
funeral. And room, let me get, all the famous people weren't famous anymore. He sucked all the fame out of the room.
Oh,
It was
wow.
one of those things to see. Yeah, it was one of those incredible things to see. But I was able to witness that. So, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Mr. James Brown. I started wearing a cape because Mr. Brown told me. He said, "Mister, it's about entertaining. You got to entertain."
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me this. He gave me this analogy about being the elephant in the circus and the elephant in the zoo. And and I say, yeah, I'd rather be the elephant in the circus. Yes, sir. He said, because because the elephant in the circus got all them capes and all that glitter on, and after he said that, I went and bought me a cape. I said, I'm gonna get a cape.
Wow. Now, how often
And
do you wear the cape on stage?
I usually just wear it when I come out, just for dynamic purposes. Just because it's got all the glitter stuff on it, and you have the smoke, and it just looks fantastic. It looks
Yes, yes,
shakalicious. It's a
yes.
shakalicious look. And so that's
Did you
I
say
take it all the time. It's
shakalicious look?
just part of my thing.
Wow, that's amazing, though. I mean,
Yeah, it's
you're
just
such
part
a
of my.
you're a good performer. Very, very good performer.
Well, thank you. And that means everything to me, because that's what it's about to me. It's about live performing. I don't care if it's 2 people. I don't care if it's 200, 2,000, whatever. I'm gonna give the same hard performance every time, and I like to make sure the audience is in it with me. So it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like an interactive thing. So, I love small clubs better than I love arenas, because small clubs, you're right there in front of people and you can talk that trash.
More intimate. You
Look
get
them
more
look
intimate.
them right in the eye.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. And they become mesmerized because you're right there in their face.
yeah, because I'm gonna put it right on them.
You know what?
Right in there, man. You getting it?
I have to agree because when it's a huge crowd, 9 times out of 10 you're up on stage. You know, you can see out there, but you're not really connecting with them. That's just, what, it's just like going to a mega church. If you go to a mega church, you'll find people say, "Yeah, I go there because of the name," but the pastor don't know you, the pastor's wife don't know you, so it's not an intimate setting. And so a lot of times people will leave unless you're just looking for a name and say, "I go to this church or that."
Right.
So yeah, I
That's
agree.
right. That's
I guess
right.
it's okay to do some of the big ones, but it's real good to get acquainted with your fans.
Because I think it takes a skill to be a real good front person.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have the guts to look somebody in their face and perform and make it happen, it'll change the way you start doing business. I mean, it can make or break you from actually being live. So,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I've never been afraid of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's something like when you right there upon them and they can see you, they like to touch on you too. I don't know if they can touch too much, but they like to, especially the ladies. They love to touch.
Yeah,
They love to touch. And you better not walk up to them too
yeah,
close. They're gonna grab you too.
and sometimes they touch a little bit too hard.
So, oh yeah, now how do you
Some of them
handle
touch a
that?
little.
How do you handle that when they
Well,
when they do
usually,
that?
you try and gently remove the hand from the area that they're touching too hard,
Uh-huh.
or I'll have Chaz, who's my hype man. I'll give him the sign. Hey, it's a little big. Come get me. This thing is a little aggressive over
So they
here.
trying to take me out over here, man.
Yeah, look, one lady. This is one reason I never put my arms down beside me anymore, because I was on stage and we invited some women to come up, and all of a sudden, a bunch of women get on stage, and we're about 4 or 5 feet off the ground. I'm standing at the edge of the stage. This lady comes behind me, and she just grabs me around my waist, and she's got both of my arms pinned in. and then she picks me up off the ground. I'm literally my feet are off the ground.
Oh no.
And yeah, and the whole time I'm thinking, I hope this lady ain't planning to throw me, because all she's got to do is just throw me right now, and I'm off the stage. And that was one of the most terrifying moments in doing this.
That this woman literally picked you up.
Yeah, she was a big girthy kind of woman, I'd say that.
Oh
And
my.
yeah, she got behind me and just wrapped her arms around me like a bear and picked me up off my feet.
Oh
And
my.
I stopped singing. I said, I'm like, put me down. but
Wait a minute, Nelson Curry, how tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
Okay, so you pretty tall for a woman
Yeah.
to pick you up.
Yeah, she was a big girl now, and she was tall. I mean, but
Oh.
she had the strength of Job. I mean, when she put her arms around me, I mean, I couldn't get loose. I was at her mercy.
Wow, just say, okay, but still put me down. Put me down.
Yeah, I just looked back over my shoulder and was like, hey, put me down like that. I didn't want to get too aggressive because I didn't want her to get pissed off and sling me off the stage. But she eventually put my feet on the ground. Once my feet hit the ground, I was able to turn and pivot out of there. I was like, holy cow. And then somebody grabbed my hat. I mean, it was chaos.
Oh yeah, they do. The ladies, they are very aggressive when it comes to the men. I know I went to a show maybe like 3 months ago with Avell Hollywood. And Avell was up there singing. And he'll let them touch, and all of a sudden, I think one of the ladies grabbed his private part, and he had to say, he said, if you do it one more time, he said, I can't take it no more. And so sometimes, you have to be very cautious because they're drinking, and they're hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't know what they have in their hands. I mean, you're just taking for granted this is a nice person.
Yes.
But you have no clue what they have in their hands or anything.
No.
And that could be it could be a pretty scary situation at sometimes. And but I just try to do my thing and let it get to a certain point, and then I back off and I'm off to another spot. That way you don't give them a chance to gather up.
Absolutely. You can't give them too much attention. You give them a little bit, but then you do have to move around because they'll make you stay right there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then that's not fair. And then that's not fair to the other people who paid money to see the show either. So you have to try and move around so everybody get an opportunity to see what's going on. Otherwise it's just not fair to anybody who's paying money.
Wait a minute, somebody is laughing at you. But listen, I'm a witness. I've seen it done. The ladies become very aggressive when it comes to the fellas. Now, most definitely the men cannot do that. They cannot do it, not for the life of them. They will not walk up to a woman and do all of that stuff like these women do to the men. So, ladies.
That's right.
Y'all need to be very, very careful of what you do out there. Be mindful that some of these men are married to the wives, understand, but when you go so far, it's like, you've gone too far. But once again, they're like at the shows, they're drinking, and some of them seem to be very possessive too. Like, oh my God, obsessed and possessed. Like, you got to be careful.
Yeah. And then you got the ones that show up at the hotel. Those are the ones now. Even if I don't know, I think they go around and they'll call every hotel, or they'll try and go to the hotel to see where the cars and stuff like that are, and they'll just show up. It's like, I was at the show. I'm like, oh, okay, well, great, see you. And they're on the elevator where you're trying to go find out what room you're in. And I'm like,
oh no, you wait a minute, you must be having on some good cologne because they following you.
Oh, got that? It's that Fahrenheit, baby. That Fahrenheit will make you follow. That's that old school. Yes.
Yeah, that's that Christian Dior. Christian Dior. That's Fahrenheit is by Christian Dior. So that is some good cologne. Very good cologne. Yeah, so we'll make you do that. So, all right. Now, I'm going to ask you this question because a lot of the artists, they'll say, I don't consider myself to be in any category. So, as far as the music, when it comes to Southern soul, soul music, or blues, where would you put yourself?
I put myself in the category of soul music. Like every album I put out, when I came out with the group, the Class Band Brotherhood, I called the album Out of the Shadows of Soul. The second
Mhm.
album I did with them, it was called We Call the Shots in Soul. Then when I did my solo project, I called it It's Time for Soul. And this latest album I have is called The Evolution of Soul, because I just don't call it Southern soul, Northern soul, Western. It's just soul music. That's all I'm doing. I'm just writing songs and hope people like them. Now,
Absolutely.
if they want to put it in a category and it makes them feel comfortable about that, so be it. And
Right.
I'm not I'm not trying to change anybody's feelings. I'm just trying to change. Um, I'm just trying to put my own signature of music in this thing. And
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to sound like this person. I'm not trying to sound like that person. Like if somebody has, I've got a song called "Good Thing" that I wrote years ago. It's on my we call it "It's Time for Soul" CD. But I
Mhm.
won't. It's a great song, but I won't release it because everybody's got a song called "Good Thing." It's like if somebody in this genre makes a song and it gets hot, everybody will call another song with the same name,
Yes.
and it's so confusing. It's like man, I mean, I just don't do that. I go the other way. If
Well, okay.
somebody's
So,
got
what's
that
your
thing,
what's your take on that? Because they've been talking so much about.
what's that?
What's your take on it? And then I'm going to ask something. What's your take on people doing the artists doing that? And also, they're talking. This two in one question. What's your take on them doing that? And then also, what about when the artists come out and say, "Oh, somebody stole my song. This is my song." Well, what's your take on all of this?
Somebody stole your song?
Not my song, but that's what they're saying. Like they come out with the same name as
Yeah.
you said. You know what I'm saying? But they try to change the words up a little bit.
Oh
Or
well.
or they come out and they've put at least 40% of your lyrics in their song. So now they're saying somebody stole my song. That's a lot of that is going on. He's passing through the dark. So you all, this is Nelson Curry, the Sugar Shack Man. For those of you all that don't know, we didn't get a chance to do advertisement today, but if you all listen to, I want to go back to the Sugar Shack. This is Mr. Sugar Shack himself.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but
So
but yeah,
go
I
ahead.
mean, people have been people have been complaining about somebody stealing songs from the beginning of time. Since
Mhm.
since they first came out with the when the mechanical rights were established, and I'm a big student of information because I always wanted to be behind the scenes, uh, contract negotiating stuff like that. But like when they first come out with mechanical rights, it started because of the guy who used to sell the little spool that played on the player piano.
Mhm.
He was going around
Yes.
selling that spool, and the guy who wrote the song was like, "Hey, look, you can't sell this thing with my song on and not give me any money." And so that's when that law was established with the mechanical rights.
Mhm.
And when it comes down to the performance rights and just writing the songs in general, I think it's right now. I think it's more so people are saying, "Oh, they stole my song. Hey, they stole my song." If you got to prove that they had access to your material. Now, if you sent your song out somewhere and they had access to it, and you feel strong enough to go to court with it and try and argue that fact, if it's close enough, a judge of a court of law will prove that person guilty, and they'd have to pay for that. But
Mhm.
for the most part, it's just in this market, people tend to just do the same thing so much and talk about the same thing because
Mhm.
if King George comes out with a song, can't wait too long. Here we go with another song with something with too long in it, or a good thing in it. It's got a good thing. like in my song Pinch Myself, there's a breakdown in it where I'm saying, I got me a real good woman. I got me a real good thing. And every time I say that, I cringe because I'm thinking, I don't want anybody thinking I'm copying this guy's song or his vibe, but it's just a thing. And I haven't really heard anybody copy somebody like that they can even say that. But
Right.
it all depends on what that person feels. Because if somebody feels strong enough that somebody's stealing their song, there's nothing you can do to tell them that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's my song, and they took it. Once they stand on that soapbox, it's a wrap. And
Right.
I stay out of it. I look at them talking that stuff and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've
I
seen
mean, but
this
you
thing.
you 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 know what though? They're really, really going back and forth about someone stole my song. And
Yeah,
here's the thing too. I noticed in Southern Soul, the majority of them go to the same producer. If you have
yeah,
not, now you correct me if I'm wrong. If you have not bought the lyrics from that producer, he can use it as many times as he like, right? The different artists.
yeah, and most of the time, but most of the time, I've noticed this thing is the producer is not making the lyrics. The producer is just making the beat,
The beat, right?
and yeah, and whoever's singing usually is making the lyric, and that's the person they need to try and attack and see maybe did this person have access to what I'm doing or not, because the producer in this game usually just provide the beat, but I see a lot of
Exactly.
people going to the same producer and they'll have the same beat because
That's
I
what
was
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. The same beat. So
yeah
if you don't purchase the beat from the producer, he can keep using that same beat on several
yeah
artists or whoever.
yeah yeah. If you're just renting and leasing a beat, yeah, I mean, bottom line is you're gonna hear that beat again. I heard a guy sing with a song last weekend, the exact same beat, no different than another guy I know. Both of
Wow.
the guys got the same beat, and but if I use a producer that does beats, and see that's another thing that people are getting confused with. You can be a producer, you can be an arranger, or you can be a writer. Those are all entirely different things. But
Hmm.
for some reason, if a person has Pro Tools or drum machine or whatever case may be and lay a beat down, he's called a producer. And the producer, there's a whole lot of aspects involved in that. How you're gonna arrange this thing, what needs to be here, what needs to be there, what needs to be here. And there's some guys that don't do that. They're just beat arrangers. They do arrangements. They're not producers.
Hmm.
I a producer should be able to take that project from beginning to end and present something to the public that's marketable from beginning to
Right.
end. Then you have produced that product. But other than that, you're arranging a beat. You are arranging a beat, and I'm writing on your beat. But
Right.
that does not make you the producer of the song. That makes you the arranger of the track. And
Hmm.
you can copyright your arrangement, just like the person can copyright. They can copyright their lyric. Like on all
Hmm.
copyright says, what's your contribution? Lyrics, music, or just music. So you can have two people on that copyright form, one doing the music, one doing the lyric. And then it's up to you guys how you want to make that copyright work. You want
Right.
to both right? And even because you can split it up like that. But then
Hmm.
then you got other stuff like publishing, and then the publishing, then you got to figure that out. Some producers may want 20% of the publishing because they did the track. Some producers may want 50% of it because they did the track, and yeah, it all depends. It all depends what it is. But
Right. So what if a producer, um, present the track to you and also help you with some of the lyrics of the song?
then
Is
then
it fair for them to get 50%?
yeah, then because he's going down as songwriter at that point. He's
Okay.
he's part of the songwriting crew. He's gonna if it was me, I'm gonna get some of I'm gonna get the part of the copyright, and I'm gonna have part of the publishing. If I'm contributing some of the lyrics, yeah, absolutely. Because
Okay.
some of these guys who arrange tracks, they'll come in with the track arrangement, and they'll have the hook, the hook of the
Mm-hmm.
song, and then they'll let the
Mm-hmm.
artist do the lyric, you do the verses, and at that
Right.
point, now this person is also in as a songwriter.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. You know what though? I believe you're teaching us today because I'm like I said, I hear so much. Sometimes you can butt in and say something, other times you can't because you have to know from A to Z
yeah,
exactly what's going on, how it take place, how you have to orchestrate what is going to take place with the producer per the artist. I mean,
yeah,
if you don't go, and a lot of them, from what I'm seeing, is they don't understand the business aspect of what's really going on. They just come in the studio. I want to do a song.
yeah, and that's a lot of what's happening. It's because it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. I used to have a recording studio back in the day as well, and all of the people that I work with, I used to make them read this one book called This Business of Music.
Mm,
It was like a Bible. It was like a Bible, but I wanted them to know exactly what was happening, before we got into any kind of business. Because if you know what I'm talking about, what I'm saying to you is not going to be foreign. And
right,
and because it always turns out to be the person closest to them that they accuse of cheating them. I mean, like when we did, we've done some records. I got a platinum record on the wall and stuff like that. But it was just there's a whole lot of things in those contracts that little words can mean a whole lot. Like there's a line they used to put in a lot of these contracts back in the day called "notwithstanding the foregoing." And if you didn't know what "notwithstanding the foregoing" was, you signed a contract that literally had all this great stuff. We're gonna give it 100,000 of here. We're gonna give it 300,000 here, and then it gets to "notwithstanding the foregoing," which just means what I just said in front don't mean squat.
right, right.
And then or they'll have a segment where they'll say we're gonna hold 30% of the money in reserve based on records shipped. And the difference in that is they're making that number based on records shipped, not records sold, which is going to be
Okay.
I mean, they might ship, they might ship out 2 million records and didn't sell but 100,000, but they got that reserve set up on records shipped,
Mm-hmm.
and those kind of things happen all the time. And then the artists would get mad at whoever they're closest to, like their manager, or get mad at the local label that put them out. Because I'm telling you, I've seen some crazy, crazy stuff blamed on people or a person who had nothing to do with it, but that person was just close to them, so that was the person they were able to go after and
Right,
try and
right,
ruin.
right. But you
But
just said something there, and I've done so many interviews for the past 4 years, and you said there's the difference between record sold and record shipped.
yeah,
I've never heard an artist come on and say it. And so you also said about 15 minutes ago, you like being a student. I believe
yeah,
this right here. This interview, Sharif, if you guys are not sharing it, please share. Because being a student allows you to know your ins and outs, your ups, your downs, your rights, your wrong, and your commitment to what you're doing. And you have to be able to orchestrate this thing called music, the business of music. A lot of them do not
it's
know what it is. So I'm liking being a student tonight myself, from the student to student. This is
that's
good.
what's up.
Yeah, so we're going to get into this thing, y'all, with the Sugar Shack, man. I want to go back. So
Hey,
teach us some more. I'm enjoying this. I'm a
well,
student
I mean,
tonight.
well, I just if somebody asks me a question, I answer the best I can. If I don't have the answer, I'll find it, and
Right.
or I'll try and shoot people to the area. Because man, I have people mad at me all the time. Like they'll send me songs, and and I was like, how can I get in this Southern Soul thing? Blah blah blah, yada yada yada. And I'm telling you, the the easiest way, if somebody comes to me and say, I'm trying to get in here and sell a million records, I'm like, well, you should have went back to 1985 and 1990 to pull that out, because that kind of stuff don't happen in this season. It's a whole
Right.
it's streaming and all this stuff. Because I think the last time I read it, I think 150,000 streams is really equal to selling one CD.
And
Which
one CD
yeah
costs how much?
yeah 99 cents. Because really, if you really look at it, your goal in getting to become an independent artist, you should really concentrate on just saying. I tell people all the time this. I say you need to have 1,000 people that's willing to spend $100 on you a year. That's what you
Say
should
it
shoot
again.
for.
Say,
Then
say that one
you,
more time. Say it one more time. They
you need
need what?
you need to get you need to get 1,000 people that's willing to spend $100 on you, and then you will be an independent artist. Most people have 5,000 people on their Facebook page, which they don't really interact with. But
Nope.
the goal it should be to be independent, if that's what your desire is. And that $100 can come from T-shirts, it can come from concerts, it can come from whatever. And if that's too big, get 2,000 people willing to spend 50.
Right.
Just build, shoot for something that's a little bit more attainable.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to all of a sudden put their record out and automatically be Sir Charles, King George, Tucker. They want to automatically be those people, and it's
Right.
not going to happen most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky. I got lucky with Sugar Shack back in the day, but I came out with a band, and when the
Mm-hmm.
band broke up, then I had to rebrand myself as this Sugar Shack man guy. And
Right.
I had no vision or desire to call myself the Sugar Shack man. Somebody started calling me because they didn't know my name. As a matter of fact, the dude was trying to sell me my own CD, and
Wow.
matter of fact, we were in Greenwood, Mississippi, and Sugar Shack was hot as fish grease.
Mm.
And this guy comes up, he goes, man, I got that new Sugar Shack. I was like, bruh, you don't see this big old RV out here with Class Band Brotherhood on the side? You trying to sell me my own CD? I was like, come on, man. Oh, then he told me, oh, y'all them Sugar Shack boys. That's what they used to call us back then. Oh, y'all them
Right.
Sugar Shack boys. But since it was like 6 of us, nobody knew our individual names. And so whenever I walk in a room, they just say, Sugar Shack, Sugar Shack, Sugar Shack. And then it turned from Sugar Shack to, oh, that's that Sugar Shack man.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm going, okay, you got to know when to pivot in this music thing sometimes. And that pivot was my time to just run with that. So everything became
Absolutely.
the Sugar Shack man.
Absolutely.
You gotta know what the universe is giving to you. When the universe shines, you gotta shine back at it and let it go. That's why I try
Absolutely.
to stay out of the drama. I don't complain about anybody's not doing this for me, because the bottom line is, if you ain't getting it done, if somebody's not doing it for you, you better get out there and do it yourself. And sitting around,
Absolutely.
the quickest way to failure is to stand around and complain.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can guarantee that one, because don't nobody want to hear your complaints anyway. They don't care.
They really don't
You
care.
can't really, yeah, you can't really name too many people in this game that's complaining about something, and by way of complaining, it changed what they were talking about.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen it at all. So I just try and write songs. I don't even approach them as Southern soul songs. I just approach them as songs.
Mm-hmm.
I approach them, but of course, I approach them as songs that will fit in this market. Because
Absolutely.
you have to know the market, you have to know your fan base, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what it is. I remember I opened a show for Tucker once, and I remember the shifting of the people who came up front. The ones that were up there watching me and the ones that came up watching him. I just noticed, and I went to the hotel room, and I wrote this song called "Big Thick," and the song is just about I need a good country, big thick woman. That's what I like because of
Uh-huh.
the women that were coming up in front watching me. So I wrote that song based on them. And
Oh, wow.
but yeah, you just got to know what you're shooting for. I mean, and sometimes it turns into a big thing, and sometimes it turns into a little thing. I mean, because if you take all the major artists like the Michael Jacksons and Prince and those guys, they'll have these big records, and then they'll go on this little period where they just kind of got mediocre stuff going on until that thing comes around again. Because
Right.
if you're a songwriter, worrying about one song is not what real songwriters do. Cause like with people always trying to make this beef between me and Big Rob. Big Rob
Mm-hmm.
went through my attorney. He called my attorneys. The attorneys, everybody got everything straight legally and paperwork wise and publishing wise and stuff like that. But they were trying to make this thing out of it. And it's never been a thing with me and him at all.
Right.
Because I promise you, I had no intention of doing this long. Because and that's why I let him do it. And so when he did it, I was like, whatever. It kind of and I thought about it like when Prince wrote the song "I Feel for You," Shaka Khan sang the song, and most people think it's a Shaka Khan song, but it's a Prince
Right.
song. You know,
Right.
he he writes songs for people and keep it moving. And see, I try and think in that regard. I just like to write stuff. I just like to write. I'm a storyteller and I like to write music. And
Absolutely.
and whatever becomes of it becomes of it. I like to collaborate when people like to collaborate, but I'm one of the old heads in the game, so I kind of sit around and watch what's happening and get in where I fit in. And
Absolutely.
drama and drama is not one of them.
Mm.
Too much stuff to do. I got a whole lot of other stuff I can do until that next one pops around. Cause I've got some good stuff out here, but I don't. I get in trouble a lot of times because I don't promote mine as hard as everybody think I should. Man, that's a good one, man. You should have went hard on that. I'm like, I said I'm off to the next one. My attention span won't let me stay on it, so I'd have to have a team around me that'll do that because I don't have the attention span for it. I was doing a TV show and my mom got on me because I had my foot crossed and I was shaking my foot the whole time I was doing the interview. And man, she lit into me. She's like, "What are you on there shaking your foot like that for? You look, you big man." While that lady was interviewing me, I heard a song in my head, and I was moving my feet to the song I was hearing, but I was talking to her. But my foot was going to the beat that I was hearing in my head, and so I done
Oh,
my attention span. My attention span is not there. So that's why, like that "Call Me" song I did with Big Yayo. Big Yayo and I and Gentry Jones, we used to do these little contests, see who can out video each other, and who can out this and that. And he sent me this track. He said he couldn't write on it. He said I can't come up with anything. And so when he sent it to me, I put it in the car, and I thought about Bill Withers just lean on me when you're not strong. That song came in my head while I was listening to his track, and then I thought, not lean on me, but how about call me? Call me. Dun, dun. Whenever you feel lonely, babe, all you do is call me.
sing now.
Whenever you feel down. And so that's where that came from. All
Absolutely.
there's not a song I've written is included. All of them have something that happened to me, and I just write from that.
So
Because when I put my phone number in the
the
song, everybody's
songs,
like,
let me ask you something. Out of all the songs that you do, What's your favorite song? I got so
Uh-huh.
many of them. That's my favorite that you sing. What's your favorite song? Your favorite song that you've done?
My favorite song is a song called. It's what actually one of my recent ones. It's called "You Deserve." It's a slow song called "You Deserve." That right
Mm-hmm.
now is my favorite song. Sugar
You
Shack.
know,
Uh,
uh-huh.
I guess I played it so long, I hate playing it now. It's like, but I like playing it because it is what it is. But it's not my favorite. Dance Floor, Big Mouth Woman, and You Deserve More. Those are my
You
favorite.
deserve. Well, you know, a lot of people fell in love with the Sugar Shack. I mean, you go to any party now, even right now to this
Yeah,
day, you know they're gonna play the Sugar Shack. They're gonna play it.
yeah,
But you know what? We're gonna take a little break and let Nelson kind of like regroup, and I'm gonna play a couple of his songs. I'm gonna play it from my end, and I want y'all to send up those hearts, those likes, and continue to share. Oh, Beverly from California, she said dance for she liked that song. So I'm gonna play a few that I had.
hey,
Hurry, y'all.
all
Let
right,
me get
Beverly.
him.
Get them chicken wings and get on the floor. Yeah.
I love this one. The Sugar Shack Man, y'all. Millions. This is a remix of Mail Waiter. Thank you for sharing, Marie. Mr. Sugar Shack himself, y'all.
Yeah.
I like that. I got my mind. I'm not gonna sit around all night long. I know they like that. I know y'all like it, but don't y'all just hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my jam right there.
Is it called Pinch Me?
Pinch myself.
When you're walking by, my heart gets a beat. My head's up in the clouds. I don't know if I'm standing on mine. Getting on mine. You got that sweet smile, makes me, makes me. Just come on to me, 'cause I love the way you are. I don't ever want you to. Come on, y'all. No. Nelson Curry.
Go back.
And I don't wanna try. No, sometimes I gotta pinch myself. Woman like you is coming home to me. You look so good every night. Wait a minute, Nelson. Wait a minute, Nelson. Go on, sing it. Go on, sing it for him.
I don't worry. I don't mind. When you're walking by and God stop and stare. Who wants a woman that don't nobody else want? That ain't me, baby. That ain't me. She got that sexy style, sexy walk. Good Lord, you know how to make that thing talk. Girl, I can do some things to you. Girl, I can do the things you want me to do, but oh, it's kind of hard for me to go without your love. And I don't want to try. No, because sometimes I gotta pinch myself because I can't believe that a woman like you is coming home to me. Yeah.
Look, you know they used to say they don't know now. They don't know now.
They don't know damn.
Listen, while they out there trying to steal, they need to be a student. Y'all need to become a student.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, if you know how to doggone protect yourself, ain't nobody gonna steal it anyway.
Oh, we
Now
they
they
need
can, and they can come up with something. But you know what? When people steal ideas like that, they can come up with something close to what you have, but it's not
uh,
going to be original. It's not going to be original, and it's not going to have the same magic. It's just what
right,
it is. I mean, it's
right.
like I see people trying to go down to the Ricky Smiley thing and get that same magic that happened to West Love. Sometimes the magic is in the bottle for somebody else. You can't go to the same bottle and get the same magic. You got to
Right.
figure out. You got to figure out what that thing is for you. And when it happens, it's going to happen in an organic manner, and nobody can stop it. There's
No, no,
nothing in the body.
right.
There's
But you know
nothing.
what? You know what it's called? It's called karaoke.
Yeah,
It's called karaoke, and I haven't seen too many more go after West Love and broke like she broke. She broke.
that's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? She went there, she did her thing, and look at West Love today.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen too many after West Love
Mm-hmm.
on this side of town go down. Now they go down there, he let them play around, and then a lot of times it seems like they think he's serious, but it's called karaoke.
Yeah, that's
It
what
ain't
it is.
nothing like this. It
I
ain't
mean,
nothing
but
like this. Wait a minute. It ain't nothing like this. It ain't nothing like this.
yeah, that's right.
This
That's
ain't no
right.
karaoke, baby.
No, ma'am.
No, sir.
Da-da-da-da.
You tried your best to work it out,
Sing them.
but he ain't feeling you no more.
No more.
Sometimes you gotta let it go.
Y'all come on, shed a light. Y'all watch it. Shed a light.
Try something better for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can receive it.
Y'all better listen.
From your man.
All your friends,
Ladies,
you think.
wait a minute. They can go download it. Pay that 99
Yeah.
cents.
Yeah.
Pocket Fanny Sugar Shack been on all digital platforms. 99 cents is all it is.
Sugar Shack, man.
And that's enough for that one too. We'll play that right complete. We want to get some more knowledge from Mr. Nelson Curry, y'all. So Nelson,
Yeah.
what's your take on, like, okay, if an artist come out, let's say this month, and then let's say in about 35, 40 days, they come out with a new song. Is that too much or that's okay?
Well, it's in this market, it doesn't seem like it's too much because it's like, back in the day, record labels used to promote the record and make the artist popular. And I remember I was on the road with Tony, and I remember they didn't have any money, and I was surprised because the label would put them in a van or in a bus and just send them across the country, because social media wasn't what it is now, but just
Right.
send them across the country, and they didn't get paid for the gigs. The radio station would blow the record up, and they would have some kind of little party at one of the clubs locally or something like that. And as the record got popular, then people would start wanting to see who the artist is, and it would make the artist popular. But right now, the way social media is and everything, the artist can get popular, and the DJs will play the record because of the popularity of the person.
Right.
So putting records out over and over again is almost kind of like the way to go. You know, it's not the
Right.
way, it's not the norm in the major industry. I mean, because you got they still consider this a chitlin circuit, and
Oh,
you know, it's like,
yes.
but it's starting to with King George coming out like he's doing, and Tucker being as hot as he is. It makes the people at the labels look at it, but then they still have to look at the business of it. Is it
Mm-hmm.
big and is it big enough? Is it making dang near billions of dollars? Is it big enough for them to ever come and put their hands on? And right
Mm-hmm.
now they're just kind of they're looking at it, but they're not doing anything with it. Not yet. But
Right.
that that can easily change. That can easily change.
Right.
There, therefore, as artists in this genre, you need to concentrate on making sure you got quality material in the marketplace. I mean, when I say
Absolutely.
quality, I'm talking I'm talking about song arrangements, the quality of the sound, have it mixed, have it mastered, have all your IRSC codes, all that stuff needs to be in place.
Mm-hmm.
So if that does happen, at least you may be one of the people they point to and go, hey, look, we need to use that person to
Right.
pull here, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I was in California, and I used to hang at this club called the Whiskey a Go Go, and it was all the rock and roll bands used to be on that show in that place. You know, everybody from Motley Crue and all those kind of old rock and roll guys, but
Right.
they were young. And when a A&R person came in and picked up on one band, those bands would recommend their friends for other labels. And oh, okay, go check them out. Go check them out. And that's why you see all those guys. They all like they know each other
Right.
because
Right.
they kind of work together on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like what we're trying to do in Carolina. At least that's what I'm hoping to do. Is just combine it. We got a lot of Carolina artists that a lot of people don't really see unless they're on this side, and it's got
Mm-hmm.
great music. I mean, and so we're just trying to put a little coalition together and just just trying to expand the sound here a little bit further down in the Mississippi, down in Texas, and places like that, because it's just
Absolutely.
here. And
Right.
there's a lot of good artists here. I mean, you got Rico Case, and you got Joe Nice, you got Clay Banks, you got Nico Grande, you got you got a girl that
Mr.
I'm working with.
Smoke
Her
is
name,
there, right? Mr. Smoke is there?
yeah, no,
Not,
Mrs.
not
Smoke is
Mr. Smoke. Not Mr. Smoke. I meant what's his name?
Stuff,
That's
Mrs.
Mr.
Stuff,
Stuff. Mr. Stuff.
yeah, Mrs. Stuff, yeah,
Yes.
and I'm working with a girl uh, named Kayla the Love Note. We just did a video release party on her, and
Okay.
she is badass. I mean, a little tiny girl with a big old voice, and got some good music. And we're just starting to work with a guy named he's called himself Jed 747. I call him.
Mm-hmm.
I always pick at him. I call him the El DeBarge of Southern Soul because I mean he's just a pretty dude, but he got
Yes.
great
Yes.
music.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're locking that in, and just trying to just trying to see what I can do to help expand this thing at the same time.
Absolutely. I keep hearing about the Carolinas now. I host a lot of shows all over the world. I have not been to the Carolinas yet. I need to get there.
Oh yeah, you got to get here. That's well, we put it down. I mean, we can't be from Carolina and not give them that funk and that soul and that live show. I mean, James Brown wouldn't stand for it.
Exactly right. Now, wait a minute. If you had to do a song by James Brown, which song would it be?
Uh, that's a good question. I would probably do. It's not to get up or I feel good. Let me see how that song.
You would have to give us one since you wear the cape and all that. You got to give us one.
Yeah. I just can't. I can't think of the name of the song. If you wouldn't ask me that, I probably had it in the back of my head. But now I can't think of it. But it's not one of the most popular ones. But it's funky. I know that. But all this stuff is fun.
Okay, would you be able to sing it? Let's ask you that. Would you be able to sing it?
Yeah, I'd be able to sing it.
Let me
Yeah,
hear it.
no, I'm saying, but I just can't. I just cannot think of that song. I just can't think of the
Okay,
name. If I
as
could
we
think of
talk,
the name of it.
It'll come to you as
Yeah,
we
it'll
talk.
come to me.
It'll
Phone was
come to you.
dying, so I had to come back in here. My phone was dying.
Oh, you back in the
But yeah,
studio again?
yeah, James Brown. Yeah, but yeah, this music thing, it can be fun or it can be a headache. I choose to make it fun.
Absolutely.
It's easier to do fun than it is to do headache.
Yes, yes. Well, you've given us so many good pointers tonight. And so, I mean, I'm glad we waited to get you on, but I wish we had got you on earlier than now because the information that you're giving out to them, like being a student means everything.
It
I
does.
mean, everybody cannot be a teacher. Some of
True.
us need to be a student, to
Yeah,
listen, pay attention, and learn.
that's
Listen, pay attention, and learn.
that is so
So
true.
I believe we got some out there that needs to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, who is that? Oh, somebody saying, please, please. Oh, that's the Please, Please by James Brown.
That's not the one I'm talking about, but that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a real, you'll be on here all night trying to sing, please, please.
Yeah.
No. But you know what? Let me ask you this question here.
Uh-huh.
What would you say to the new and upcoming artists? A lot of them out there, people are saying, oh, they can't sing, but they're out there, they're on shows. I don't believe all of them are getting paid. Now, I listen to everybody's music. I take
Right.
the time out and listen, sit right here and listen to these people's music. So, what would you say to the new and upcoming artists? If they feel like, I'm going to say, if they feel like, or if they think they're supposed to be on shows, they're getting booked, but they're really not getting paid. I know a lot of them are not getting paid. They're just showing up, and those promoters say, okay, you here, go ahead and sing one song or two. But what would you
Yeah.
say to those artists out there? And I know, I'm going to say, I know the music is not good. I'm not going to even play it. I don't waste my time to play it. I know it's something like Ricky Smile, it's karaoke. But to encourage them to push through, if they want to have good music and get out there and be heard and sing the right way, what would you say to them?
If somebody has that desire to be on stage and they get the opportunity to go up and talk to some, because a lot of people don't like conflict. A lot of people don't want to tell somebody the truth in their face, and so they'll
Right.
let the people get up there and just sing because they figure, well, we got a DJ playing. There's no people here, and we're just killing some time, which is kind of backwards on the artist's part. Because if I'm going to do a free show or quote unquote promo show, put me on the show where people are there. That way,
Right.
put me in the middle so some of those people can hear me. Because there's no doing a promo show if it ain't but 10 people out there watching me. So it defeats the whole purpose. But as far as what I would tell them about doing it, one thing I've learned is you can't tell them. And so it's like a waste of time. And
You cannot.
it's kind of wasted energy to me. And I refuse to, because I think, what, I've seen some stuff happen that I would have never guessed in a million years it would happen. I mean, even on Daisy Dukes, I thought it was a decent song, but I didn't know it would do what it did. It all depends on what the market wants.
Mm-hmm.
It's the market. I mean, that's all it is. I worked for a thing that was selling James Brown cookies once, and it was based on the market. Where can we put these things that the market is going to want it? And it's just like you can take somebody who can't sing. I mean, I hear that all the time. Oh, he can't sing. I don't consider myself the greatest singer. I don't consider myself.
Oh, no. You stop. You can sing. You can sing, not sing. You sing.
But I don't consider myself like this great singer. I don't do all the runs and I don't do any of that.
No, but you sing. You sing.
Yeah, I can sing. I sing. I stay in the lane that I'm in and what my capabilities are. I don't try and go past that because I know when I'm hitting that point where of no return. And so,
Right.
but I consider myself more of an entertainer than the singer. I'm an entertainer that knows how to sing. But there are people who get in this thing, they don't have to be able to sing, but if the market is if they are what the market is looking for,
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a can't sing a note out of a bag. They will
Right.
still be
Yeah.
successful. And trying to understand that is really trying to understand how come the sun keeps shining on Earth. Why? It's not going to stop. It's not going to
No,
stop, and it's a waste of. So those kind of things you just look at as it is what it is, and you go along with the flow. Like I hear people saying, "Oh, I can't believe they got rap in this thing." You know, why? Why not? I mean, rap has been in everything, and
mm-hmm.
you would think it wouldn't filter over into this is kind of crazy. And whether I think it's good or bad has nothing to do with me. It has to do.
Especially as you know what, especially with the era we're in today, anything goes. Rap is music. I mean, it comes from a story. Singing
Yeah,
is music. It comes from a story. Everything that you're doing, it comes from a story. So if somebody come in as a rapper in Southern Soul, it's Southern Soul. So
yeah,
Southern Soul doesn't say, "Oh, you can't come in to be a rapper." Now,
yeah,
back in the day, I think was it Betty Wright? She got on stage and she started rapping, and then she
yeah.
sang a song. Was it Betty Wright or
I don't,
Denise
I don't,
DeSalle? One of them.
I
One
don't
of
know.
them got up there
I don't
and
know.
they started. It was either Betty or Denise DeSalle. They got on stage. And they were saying, "Oh, I'm really not a rapper, but I'm gonna go ahead and rap this."
Yeah,
And so now they're doing the same thing. Now, whoever it was, they both could sing, Betty or Denise. They both could
yeah,
actually sing. Now, when you
yeah,
have the rappers coming in, they are just rappers, but it's still a little bit different than being in the rap game. If they was over there with let's say Jay-Z, if they was with Tupac, if they were over there
hmm
with them, like real rappers, okay, that's a little bit different than Southern Soul because the rap that they're doing is clean cut. They're not cursing. They're not calling the women out of their names. You
yeah.
know, they're
And it's fun.
performing.
And it's funny. It's funny you say that because I was right when Sugar Shack was first released, 2011, it was real hot. I used to see this kid in town. He was a rapper, always really hustling his stuff. He was in
Mm-hmm,
college. He was in college. He was all about his woman, and he was a real professional guy. And we would see each other every now and then. I'm like, who is that kid, man? That kid right there he's really trying to work this thing. And we talked
mm-hmm.
one night about doing a record. I said like a Southern Soul / rap record because I don't even think that I think Black Zach out of Atlanta was the only one doing that at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so this guy calls me up. He said, "Man, I got an idea. Can you come over and cut this? Let's cut this track. Blah 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 blah." And so we get over to the house and we're a little recording the record in somebody's room. In the closet is the mic booth, and so he starts playing the track, dun 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 dun, and the hook. He said, "Just sing it how you want to feel it." And the hook is, "Y'all came here to party. Let's get it started. Let's get the whole club jumping, Michael Jordan. All the
Yes,
sexy ladies in the place to be. You ain't got no curfew, so just bring it on to me." Yeah. And then he started rapping. But
right.
all of his rap is about a cookout and just old school stuff.
Yes,
And
yes,
and
yes.
that became one of the hottest rap Southern soul songs
Mm-hmm,
that's been out because it
mm-hmm.
was 100% talking about old school party. There's a kid named Joe Nice,
Right,
and one of the best writers out here, and he's a rapper. So I mean, for somebody to
right.
say rap can't be in here is just it doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't resonate.
But
So here's the thing. It depends on what they're rapping about, and if you listen
there
to
you go,
the
there you go.
rappers that are in Southern Soul, it fits perfect because
Yep, there
those
you go.
we got News Williams out there. News Williams, he does not sing at all. There's no singing.
Hmm.
He's a straight
Right,
rapper. And
right.
so you listen to the lyrics, that's coming out of his mouth. He's spitting hard. And
Yeah,
guess what?
yeah,
The ladies love him.
yeah. And plus he's got and plus he's got Sir Charles singing the chorus.
Yes,
And
yes,
so it's tying the Southern Soul thing in. But
yes.
every genre of music is gonna have some resistance when something
Mhm.
out of the norm comes up. It was
Right.
like that with rock and roll when rock and roll showed up on the scene. It was like that when bass music showed up on the scene. It was like that when disco showed up on the scene. Anytime
Mhm.
something different shows up, there's gonna be a resistance to it, and then it'll become a norm. And
Right.
then what used to be the norm would have to transcend into something else, or it'll die out. And
Absolutely.
and you as an artist following that kind of stuff, you'll cause yourself to die out trying to hold on
Mhm.
to something that's inevitably going to change.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, I mean, this has been an awesome hour of interview. Just to have you on, you just don't know, my heart just bleeds to see you sitting here. And I'm going to send you that picture of my brother. I'm going to send you
That's what I was gonna say. Send me the picture of
Yes,
my brother.
yes, yes. And I mean, the knowledge that you have given us tonight is amazing. So, I would love to have you to come back on with you being my co-host and coming back on with another artist or two and giving them the knowledge that you gave us tonight. I love to have a co-host, that knows the business and the
Yeah,
business. A lot of them really don't know the business. They don't.
yeah, yeah. You gotta give them what they need. I think, and because
Yes, they
you give
need.
people what they need, it makes it easier. It just makes it easier for you to deal with people when they know. You know, and
Exactly
um,
right.
and that's what I like. I just like people to know, yeah, because I don't want
Right.
people to come to me like, oh, if I'm working with an artist or something like that, I don't want you coming to me saying, oh, I'm trying to cheat you. When no, this is the way it's done. I didn't make this up. I didn't make the industry. This is the way it
Right.
is,
Right.
and a lot
Right.
of people don't know that. And
We don't
yeah,
know. I mean, if we go all the way back to Tyrone Davis, Mel Waiters, Marvin Seas, all of those guys, Johnny Taylor, how
yeah,
they maneuvered in, they worked together.
yep.
Even what's his name? Oh goodness, I see it. I'm about to say Ray Charles, but I don't mean Ray Charles.
Um,
I'm thinking about what's his name. I've interviewed him before. Oh my goodness, he gonna get me. Uh,
Wilson Meadows,
Bobby Rush.
Bobby Rush. Okay,
Bobby Rush. All of those guys were back there. I got a clip of footage of them when they were all on stage. It was Bobby Rush, Tyrone Davis, Johnny Taylor, and how they all just collabed together. And it was
yeah,
an awesome set. It was an awesome set.
yeah,
I would love to see that today where you got, at least 4 or 5 artists on stage at the same time. Nobody's trying to take over, no little eyes, no big U's, and they just collabing together.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What I want to do, I wrote a song called Lend a Hand, and it was
Mm-hmm,
basically the song is basically about because I was in LA and they took me to that homeless district,
mm-hmm,
and when I came back home, I wrote a song called Lend a Hand that's basically saying if you want to really help the world, you got to help your own little piece first.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I set it up like a Weird World song. So what I want to do is I want to get a bunch of Southern Soul artists and recut the song and put it out as just a record to raise funds for some type of charitable situation, whether it's homeless, feeding the kids, or back to school stuff. I want to do that with the
Yes.
Southern Soul artists.
You know what?
And
I'm going to talk to you about that too because I have an organization. It's called the Southern Soul Blue Heart Divas, and it's a
hmm
women of empowerment group, and that's what we do. So
okay,
I would love to work with you on something like that.
yeah,
And even just to put it,
that's real.
yes, I mean, for the holidays we go out, we feed the homeless. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So how about even putting that in Southern Soul where it's not just one person, but we have a collaboration of people coming together,
Yeah,
like you said, and just making it
yeah,
happen.
Yeah, I want to do it. Yeah, make it a We the World thing. Get those artists that want to be a part of it, just do the video of it. I mean, make it look like I mean, do it for real. I mean, not play around
Yes,
with it.
yes,
Show them
yes.
that
And something like that,
Southern Soul is more than take.
yeah, something like that has to come from your heart. It has to
Yeah,
come from your heart. You really have to come from right here to do that.
yeah.
And so I think you would be the person to put that together.
Well, I'm gonna put it together. It's gonna be spectacular. It's gonna be shackalicious. It's gonna be all of that.
Wait a minute. It's gonna be Shaq what?
Shactacular and shackalicious.
It's gonna probably be something like
It's always the original, baby. I got 10 seconds to get to that dance floor.
10 seconds, y'all.
Well, it's Friday evening and we played some spades. Folks just got laid. Well, it's time for drinking and it's time to dance while we watch them ladies wear them nice tidy pants.
What you say?
Now every party's feeling
Oh, it's Billy Jookin', babe.
and the ladies so fine. I see little thugs kind of buzzing, baby. On that homemade wine, you got it for it. You're joking at the juke. Look at you. All those fine ladies inside. You're joking at the juke.
They love to dance on my show. They over there dancing.
Jukebox playing all the songs in line. We got grown folks playing.
We ain't about to make y'all dance tonight. We got to talk to Nelson. They over there. They got the little emojis going.
The hips just a swinging.
Just a swinging over there. So listen, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I have really, really enjoyed you. I've learned so much from being a student tonight, and you're my teacher. I've learned so much from, selling the records versus sold records. Just so much information that you have given us. And then now talking about, putting something together for Southern Soul. I think it's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I've had a ball. I mean, everybody knows me. I talk. So I can talk about this stuff all day long because I love it, and I got so many stories that's been involved with this thing. Most of the time, I tell some of these stories. Most people don't even believe I'm telling the truth. They think it's what? Like really? It's like nah, that really happened. So, but it's all been great. I mean, God has been good to me. I'm going to say that God has been good to me, and why certain things happen to me, I don't even know why, but you accept it and you roll with it. I've been able to meet some great people, make some great connections with people, and man, I mean, it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a great ride. That's my Golden Reel Award back there. See it?
That's I see it. Yes.
That little award back there.
Yes.
They give you that.
Congratulations.
They give you that when
I see it.
Back in the day when you used Ampex tape, the big 2-inch tape to record, and you sold a certain amount of records, that company would give you what's called a Golden Reel Award.
Wow.
And Daisy Dukes did that for us. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. So is there anything we did not touch on that you would like to talk about before we get out of here?
Well, only thing I like to say is if y'all want your party hot, you want to get the party started, hit up the Sugar Shack man, 803-439-6673. And if you don't call me, hey, call Cliff. Cliff will book it. It's all good.
Wait a minute,
803-439-6673.
All right, that's your booking information, right?
Yeah, and if you don't get me at that number, like I said, you can call. I don't have the number in my head right now, but you can call Cliff. Cliff is saying got to book Tucker. I mean, if you book Tucker and you can't get Tucker, call up the Shack man. We'll make the party shacktacular. Let's go.
Yes. So the number that he just gave you all is 803-439-6673. Once again, that number is 803-439-6673. That is the Sugar Shack man, Mr. Nelson Curry himself, my brother, y'all.
Yeah. Or go to NelsonCurry.com or you can go to Nelson Shackman Curry at TikTok, Nelson Shackman Curry, Facebook, Nelson Shackman Curry, and Instagram. It ain't hard to find.
Nelson Curry ain't hard to find, and he ain't lying. Y'all can go type it in, and he's gonna pop right up. So if y'all looking for Nelson Curry, and y'all want a guy on y'all show that's gonna come and show up and show out, and he gonna be looking good too, because I be seeing you out there. I be seeing you.
Hey, baby, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being on my show, and I hope to have you again. I want to have you to come back real soon as a co-host to me.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime. Just let me know.
I
Anytime.
sure will. You have a good night. Stay blessed and keep on looking good. I'm going to send you your brother's pictures when we get off of here.
All right, cousin.
All right, cousin. All right. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody. And thank you all for being on the Lady CoaCo Show. We'll see y'all next time.